Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Cynthia Elestar. I'm Unidos Now Program Director, and I'm really happy to welcome you all to our first community workshop of our second series, and it will be on scholarships. Everybody wants to learn about scholarship, right? You can get free money to go to college, and it's important that you understand what you need to do to be able to get that free money. So before we get started, I would like to share with you my screen to show you some basic housekeeping rules. Here we go. So just for you to know, everybody is muted. And if you want to ask a question, please type it in the chat box and we will read it to the speakers and they will answer it either during the presentation or at the end of the presentation. And at the end of the session today, we're going to have a survey. We kindly ask you to please complete the survey to help us improve and to learn what are the topics you would like to learn about in the future. Also, if you need Spanish interpretation and you're watching us via Zoom, it's very easy to do that. To access Spanish interpretation, please click More on the lower right or upper right-hand corner of your screen, then click Language Interpretation, and then click Spanish and mute original audio. Para acceder a la interpretación en español, si usted nos está viendo a través de Zoom, por favor haga clic en Más en la esquina inferior o superior de su pantalla. Luego haga clic en Interpretación de idiomas y finalmente haga clic en Español y en Silenciar audio original. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Lindsay Masterson. She is the Manager of Scholarships and Grants at the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. Lindsay, please take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you. I wish I could see all your faces, but it's okay. I'm happy to be able to share this information with you and let you know a little bit more about the scholarships that we have at our foundation, and then a little bit more about other local scholarship opportunities that might be available to you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so today what I'm going to focus most of our time on is these scholarships available to students under 24 years of age. We do have scholarships available for students of all ages. I'll highlight a little bit about that, but I'm going to focus in on the scholarships that are most relevant to you all at Unidos Now. Right. Okay, so my name is Lindsay Masterson. As I mentioned, I manage the scholarship program at the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. Our program has been around since 1988. Our foundation has been around even longer. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary, but scholarships have been going on for a lot of years. So almost, yeah, just about 30 plus years at this point. So we've been doing this for a long time. Just a little bit of background on how a community foundation works. A community foundation is made up of funds that are donated by all different donors from around the community. So they make a donation and they create a fund that serves a specific purpose. So at our foundation, we have funds that can go toward grants for nonprofits to help the community in that way. And we also have funds that are specifically for scholarships. And so of all of our funds, we do have 87 different scholarship funds. What that means is that we have 87 different sets of eligibility criteria, 87 different types of community committee formats, and things like that. So more or less, if you're from one of our 4 counties, being Sarasota, Manatee, Charlotte, or DeSoto County, we will have at least one scholarship you're eligible for. And I'll speak a little bit about the different applications and how we've tried to make this an easy process for the applicants. We do award about $2 million every year just for scholarships in our 4 counties, more than 600 students in this past year. So there is a lot of money to go around, and we like to support as many students as we can. Our average scholarship size is about $3,000 per year, and we do have different sizes of scholarships and different types of scholarships. So some are one-time scholarships, and then we do have some renewable scholarships as well. All right. So I'm going to walk through how you guys can find what opportunities are at our foundation, and I'll share a little bit about the best scholarship application that I would recommend for you all to go through, and I'll just dive right in. So our website is the best place to go to learn most about our scholarship program. Our website is www.cfsarasota.org. And the students section is where all of our scholarship information lives. I do want to mention that I will be sending this PowerPoint to Unidos Now to share with all of you. So if you're taking notes, that's great. Keep in mind, I'll send this out as well so that you have a reference to use after the presentation's over. All right, so once you click on students, our website will bring you to this page. As I mentioned before, we do have scholarships for students under 24, and we have scholarships for students 24 years of age or older. And so what you'll do is you'll click on under 24, because most likely most of you are under 24, and that'll bring you to the next page with more information. If you have family or friends that are over the age of 24 or older, tell them about this opportunity. We'd love to have their applications as well. And they can learn more about those opportunities on our website. All right, so on the under 24 page, you'll first see our basic eligibility. And so just a little refresher, there's only 2 of those. One is location, so being from Sarasota, Manatee, DeSoto, or Charlotte counties. And when I say from those counties, what I mean is you're either a graduating high school senior from one of those 4 counties, or you are living in one of those 4 counties. So you're a resident in one of those 4 counties. Also, for current college students, they're also welcome to apply, and they would just need to have graduated from a high school in one of our 4 counties. And then the only other criteria is the age. So being under 24, and we base that on the last day of the year in which you're applying. So if you're applying for a scholarship in February of 2021, you would just need to make sure that you will be 24 as of December 31st of 2021, under 24. You can also access our frequently asked questions and our tools and resources for scholarship planning from this page. So I'd just like to highlight that those links are over here on the right-hand side. All right, so the main scholarship I want to talk about today is our traditional scholarship. This is our largest scholarship. We award over 70 different scholarship funds through this one application. So what we've done, instead of having you sift through 87 different funds and try to figure out which ones you're eligible for or which ones you're not eligible for, we have tried to consolidate as many as possible into this one application. So by filling out one thing, you're considered for over 70 different opportunities. And the link, once it's available, right now it's not available. This is a screenshot from last year. But once it is made available, you'll be able to apply now from this page. You'll click on this button and it will take you directly to our application system so that you can create an account and start your application. We do have, like I mentioned, some scholarships that are renewable each year. So if through the traditional scholarship, you're awarded a renewable scholarship, then in future years, you would apply through this renewable scholarship application. So if this is your first year applying, you won't worry about the renewable scholarship yet, but maybe next year or the year after, if you receive a renewable scholarship, that's the one you'll apply through then. Okay, so I've talked quite a bit about the traditional scholarship, but I'll go a little bit more in depth with you all. So like I mentioned, over 70 different types of scholarships are awarded through this one application. And there's all different types of eligibility for it. So the main pieces are, like I said, being from one of our 4 counties and being under 24. Those are the only 2 pieces that you need to qualify in order to apply. Now within the application, we have scholarships that are for students from private schools, public schools. We have need-based only. We have some that are need and merit-based. We have some that are merit-based only. We also have scholarships for students of all different majors. So whether you're studying biology or you're studying performing arts, we would still have scholarships opportunities for those. The one piece as far as what type of school you go to, it doesn't matter its location. What does matter is that it's an accredited program. So as long as it's an accredited college, university, technical school, or even certification programs, we would be able to award a scholarship for those. Now, one slight specificity on that is that within the US, we can do any accredited program. If you are planning to study abroad or internationally, our opportunity to send scholarships to those schools is slightly limited. So if that is your plan, feel free to reach out to us and we can check and make sure that we would be able to award a scholarship to that school. Award amounts, like I mentioned, they vary. So our smallest is $500 one-time scholarship. Our largest is $100,000 over 4 years. So that would be $25,000 per year for 4 years. And we have a range all in between all of that. And like I mentioned, our average is about $3,000. Okay, so once you pass those first 2 blue boxes with traditional and renewable, you'll get to another listing of all different applications outside of just traditional and renewable. And so you'll first see the traditional and you'll see renewable. And then below these, you'll see about 12 other scholarship applications. So we have a lot of different opportunities outside of just the traditional. And so my recommendation to you would be to look through all of those different opportunities on our website and see which ones you're interested in applying for. And just go ahead and note those down and then plan to check back and apply for them once they're open. I did make a short list of some that you might want to keep in mind. The traditional scholarship, as I already mentioned, hopefully if anything from this presentation, you'll remember traditional scholarship. We also have the Father Connie Doherty Scholarship. This one is for Sarasota County students, but you're welcome to apply for that one. Performing Arts Scholarship is for anybody who's planning to study some type of performing arts in college, and that's open to Sarasota, Manatee, Charlotte, and DeSoto counties. The SNAC BSN Scholarship is for students who've been accepted into a Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. So if you're applying to college right now, most likely you wouldn't be starting your nursing program until your junior year. So this is one to keep in mind. Once you're accepted into a nursing program, we would love for you to apply for that scholarship as well. And then lastly, our Booker Law Academy Scholarship. This one is specific for students at Booker High School who are in the Law Academy and will be graduating from it. That's another opportunity to keep in mind. All right. So that's the gist of our under 24 years of age scholarship page on our website. So I want to give you a little background on what happens once you apply. So on our end, what is all of this time that you're waiting to find out if you got a scholarship? We'll fill you in a little bit on what that looks like. So general overview of the process. So the first little bucket is students submit applications online. From there, our staff makes sure that all of those applications are correct. So you might be hearing from us asking for you to update different things or letting you know that one of your documents was missing a page. We do try to reach out to students and give them the opportunity to correct some things. But the turnaround time is pretty tight during that time period. So you want to make sure you're monitoring your email and you're making updates quickly. From there, all of our applications go to volunteer committees. And those are made up of community members all over our counties who review and then rank applications. So they put some scores into our system. And then from there, our team at the Community Foundation receives all those results and we determine the actual awards. So we go through and we see which student is eligible for which funds, and we award out scholarships based on those committee scores. From there, we do host interviews for a select number of our scholarships, some of our larger awards. So you may be invited in for an interview. And then after that, we send out the final scholarship award notifications via email. So whatever email that you're using in our system, make sure you're monitoring that for updates from us, and then also for your award notification if you do receive a scholarship. Once you get that, you will need to submit some more documents to us. We just want to make sure that we know what school you're going to. You want to send your scholarship to the right place. And so we do ask you for a little bit more information once you receive your award. And then we do actually mail those scholarship award checks out. That's the full process. I know that's a lot of information, but I'm open for questions if you have any after the presentation. All right, so the most popular question is, what is the committee looking for? What do I need to keep in mind as I'm applying for this scholarship? And so our traditional scholarship, our committee looks at these main factors. We do look at financial need, we look at academics, we look at service and activities, we look at work experience, leadership potential, and then the essay. So I do like to mention, not all of our scholarships require that a student is a rock star in all of these areas. So all of our scholarships have different eligibility. Some might be solely looking at financial need. Some might be only looking at academics or only at service and activities. Some really do like to see that the student has some work experience. Some don't worry about that at all. So keep in mind, if you're really strong in one or two of these areas, but maybe not all of them, don't be discouraged. We will have a scholarship that you'll be, a good fit for and have a good chance to receive. Essays. I always like to do a little shout out about the essays. The essay is my favorite part of the application. If I'm reviewing applications, this is the student's chance to really show who they are, to share with the committee who you are as a person, what makes you you, and how can we begin to see you as a human being and not just as a piece of paper that we're reading. And so this is a great opportunity for you to share your story and to share your hopes and your dreams, and to really just help us get to know you better. So do spend some time on the essays. Have a teacher or a mentor edit or give you some feedback on your essay, and spend some time there. And then last but not least, I think I mentioned this already, but we do review all the applications and we make sure that we're considering you for the scholarships that you're a best fit for. So whatever area you're strong in, that's the one that we would be considering. All right. Oh, let me take a little drink. Okay, so next steps. I laid out some ideas for you all. These are really just suggestions. You don't have to do these, but you're pretty early in the year, in the scholarship year, academic year. And so a lot of applications may not be open for you to actually start applying for scholarships. So I've laid out some ideas of things that you can do to start preparing before those applications open. So on our website, we have a great little section called Tools and Resources for Scholarship Planning. And so from our website, what you would do is you would hover over Students, and then you would click on the Tools and Resources for Scholarship Planning. This link will take you directly to that page. All right. From there, we have a couple different sections. The first one I want to mention is the organizational tools. We have a document uploaded there that you can download and use as a guide as you're looking for scholarships, called the scholarship calendar. So you would just click download PDF, and then you would be able to download and save that to your computer. I recommend doing this first. Save it to your computer first. The form will let you edit it in your internet browser, but it will not let you save what you add to the form from there. So you want to save it first and then start editing the document. And then you open it from your computer, and then you'll be able to start editing that form. We did make it all fillable electronically, so you don't have to print it. If you don't have a printer, I know I don't have a printer at my house, so you're welcome to go ahead and fill that in on your computer, and you'll have that as a resource for you. And basically all it has is the different months leading up to the end of the school year, and you can start researching scholarship opportunities and write in which scholarships you want to apply for when. And it also allows you to add in the deadline. So as an example, I put Community Foundation of Sarasota County traditional and deadline to be decided. We have not yet decided on the deadline for this coming year, but we will have that public once it's decided, and that'll be on our website. All right, so once you have your form, you're ready to start looking for different opportunities. So I would say go back to that under 24 page that I mentioned. This link will take you directly there, and I'll show you. So this is the page on our website that we looked at together, where we have the traditional, renewable, and then all of the other scholarships below it. So I would go back to this page once you have that form downloaded and saved, and start reading through these descriptions and seeing which other scholarships you want to apply for through us. Right? That's weird that it's kind of, there we go. Okay. So you can go through there, start writing down the different applications you want to apply for and their deadlines if they're available. From there, we have another page on our website on the tools and resources that will show you a bunch of outside scholarship opportunities. So outside of our foundation, there's a lot of other local organizations that are trying to help students find scholarships and get to college. And so on that page, which is the same page you downloaded that form from, there will be additional outside scholarship opportunities. So the College Success and Resource Center is one I like to point out. We partnered with Take Stock in Children and the Boys and Girls Club of Sarasota County to open up this College Success and Resource Center. It's located at the Boys and Girls Club of Sarasota County on Fruitville and Lockwood Ridge roads. And it's open to the public. So you do not have to be a member of Boys and Girls Club. You do not have to be in Take Stock for Children. You don't even have to be a scholarship recipient of ours. Everybody is welcome to make an appointment here. You would go to the website and you'd be able to set up an appointment with a coach. And what they can do is they have a database of over 500 different scholarship opportunities. So a lot of opportunities. Some are local, some are national, some are statewide. But you can set up an appointment and the coach will walk you through how to navigate that database and find more opportunities for you. And they are still meeting with students. They're doing it virtually right now, so you don't have to go into the site, I don't believe. The next one is the Selby Foundation, which I know my friend Molly will be talking to you about just when I'm finished with my presentation. She'll be giving you a lot more information about the Selby Scholars Program, which is an awesome program in our community as well. And then Gulf Coast Community Foundation is another local foundation here in our area. They serve Sarasota, Charlotte, and Boca Grande. So they do not serve Manatee County, but for any Sarasota, Charlotte, or Boca Grande students, you can apply with them for scholarships too. And then the Education Foundation of Sarasota County has a really great resource for searching for scholarships as well. It's called Launch Your Plan. And I know Molly's going to talk to you a little bit more about that option and how you can use that tool. All right, almost there, home stretch. So once you've done all your searching, you have a really good list of what applications you want to apply for, when they're due, and you feel good about your plan, you can start collecting and working toward getting ready for that application, even before that application is made available. And so the first thing I like to recommend to students is that you start making a list of your activities, your extracurriculars, any awards you've received, community service. You want to make sure you're thinking through all of your high school years and making a really good list for you to remember all of the ways that you've been active during your high school career. Also, you can talk with your teachers, your mentors, coaches, supervisors, about serving as a reference for you on your scholarship application. A lot of scholarships do require letters of reference, so now's a really good time to start talking to the people in your life who might be a good reference. Our only stipulation on letters of reference is that it cannot be from family and it cannot be from friends. So it really should be somebody who's worked with you in one of these capacities, either as a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a supervisor, or something like that. Also, I know both Unidos Now and Molly will mention the FAFSA, which will become available next month in October. So once that is available, definitely fill out your FAFSA as soon as possible. You can have your parents help. I know LCAN, our local college action network, has a lot of workshops to help families fill those out as well, and they are doing those virtually. So if you need help, reach out. There's people who can help with the FAFSA, but it's super important, and it is a requirement for our application. I believe it's a requirement for Selby's application as well. So just as soon as it's available, start working on it. And obviously look to the community for help if you have any questions. And then make a plan for obtaining your transcript from your school. I know since everything is virtual or might be virtual, we don't really know what's going to be going on. Just think about how you can go about getting that transcript. Most of us require that it does include your fall 2020 grades. So you don't want to actually get it yet. You want to make sure that it has fall 2020 on your final grades are on that transcript. But you can start thinking about how you might do that. Ask a teacher, ask a guidance counselor. I know our application doesn't require that it's official. I think official would be difficult to obtain given COVID-19 and everything. But we do require an unofficial or a screenshot, something that is non-editable in format of your transcript. All right, and last but not least, our application has an additional attachment feature where you can upload anything that you think tells our committee more about you. So give that some thought, brainstorm any projects you've worked on or portfolios of some work you've done, something that would really stand out and help us get to know you better as a student. Do some brainstorming about what you might be able to upload. All right, so that is all. That is my presentation. I know that was a lot of information. So I am happy to answer any questions. I believe if you type those into the chat box, then Ms. Ellen Starr will be able to ask me those questions on your behalf, and then we can move on. All right.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It has been extremely helpful for all the students, all the parents, everybody who is watching us either via Zoom or on Facebook Live. We have some questions already, yes. One of the questions is, at what age can you start applying to scholarships?
Yes, that is a great question. So for us as a foundation, we have a few different scholarship opportunities. Our traditional scholarship, so for college scholarship, we do require that the student be at least a graduating high school senior. So the actual age isn't as important as the fact that they are going to be graduating high school this academic year. We do have a few opportunities for students who are not yet going to college. We have our Messina Scholarship, which is for piano lessons. So students who are going to teachers within the Piano Teachers Association of Sarasota Manatee County, you can apply for a scholarship to be able to take piano lessons. So that's something for students under 18. We also have a scholarship called Youth Expanded Studies. That scholarship is for students under 18, so middle and high school age, who want to do some kind of educational experience outside of the normal school setting. So for instance, a lot of students want to go to a summer program at a college they're interested in. Or they want to do something related to the field they want to go into for their career during a summer program. You can apply through the Youth Expanded Studies program, and we'd be able to consider you for a scholarship so that you can do one of those extra programs.
Thank you.
Sure.
Lindsay, we have somebody watching us through Facebook Live, and if you could please reiterate, when will the scholarship for students under 24 years old open?
Yes. So currently we're still finalizing our timelines. Our traditional application usually opens from mid-December to early January is when that will become available. Our deadline is usually mid-February to early March. So we open it up for about 2 months. So you have some time to see it, start preparing, filling it out, getting all your attachments together. But yes, our timelines are not completely finalized yet, but usually mid-December, start looking at our website, and we will have updates on when exactly those will be available.
Perfect, thank you. Another question we have is, are the scholarships that the Community Foundation offers available for undocumented students too?
So for those questions, we ask that you reach out to us through scholarships@cfsarasota.org, and we'll be able to talk with you about our options and give you some ideas for things. But we'd prefer to take those on a case-by-case basis.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Are there any other questions in the audience or on Facebook? Looks like they're not. Well, you've been very, very thorough.
Awesome. Sorry.
We appreciate that. And that's great that, yeah, if anybody has any questions, they can contact you by email and get their questions answered. I'm going to type, or if you want to type your address, your email address on the chat box. In any case, we're going to be sharing the slides with all the students too, so everybody will have the information available. So again, thank you so much, Lindsay. It's been a pleasure having you on our first community workshop, the second part of the year. And we truly appreciate all the support that the Community Foundation of Sarasota County gives Unidos Now and many other organizations in our community.
Yes, thank you all so much. We're really looking forward to receiving your applications.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day and the weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we have just learned about scholarships that the Community Foundation of Sarasota County offers. And today, Lindsay focused on the scholarships that are available for students under 24 years old. And now we're going to continue learning about other scholarships available for students. And to learn about that, we have another guest speaker. It's Molly Swift, who is the scholarship manager at Selby Foundation. So Molly, welcome, and please take it away.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I am just so pleased to be here on a Saturday. I love seeing all the participants and knowing that people are tuning in live on Facebook as well on a Saturday. This is wonderful. So this is, I've prepared some slides for if you are, graduating this year, or just if that is coming up in your future. So I'm going to share my whole screen. Oh, hopefully I can do this easily. Sharing. Okay, now let me F5 this. All right, is it showing up the slideshow? Wonderful. Okay, great, thank you. So I'll be speaking about the Selby Scholar Program specifically, but hopefully some of the things that I'm covering will just cover, private scholarships in general. I'll try not to overkill on certain topics that Lindsay has covered, and away we go. So the Selbys, normally when I'm in a classroom, I would say, Who's heard of the Selby Foundation, or have you seen the name Selby around town? Well, it is because there were some community members many decades ago called William G. and Marie Selby. That's actually the full name of our foundation, but we can just call it the Selby Foundation. They moved to Sarasota in the early 20th century and were actually quite wealthy, though most folks in town didn't realize how much wealth they had. Supposedly, the story goes that they were childless and they lived a very modest life. But Bill Selby was actually, I guess, the son of an oil baron, and so they had a ton of money and were actually quite generous, just with their own personal money. But then they wanted to make sure that they could continue their philanthropic endeavors in Sarasota for perpetuity. And so in 1955, they started the Selby Foundation, and it was really only 1 year before Bill Selby died. And Marie actually was involved for 20 or so years after that. At that time, it was pretty unheard of for a foundation to last for perpetuity, like they had arranged for the Selby Foundation too. So basically, when you have so much money and you have it in an endowment, it creates money just by existing each year, through interest and however you invest it. So basically, they've put in, between the two of them, about $19 million, which even in today's world is a lot of money. And over the many decades, it's grown to such a size that the Selby Foundation gives out about $3 million each year. 2/3 of it is about grants. We give grants out to nonprofits like Unidos now for capital projects. So if they needed a renovation or a new roof or something like that. So that's really where 2/3 of the money goes, but the other third does go towards students going into college. We do some of that by giving just grants to the local colleges in town, like USF and SCF and the technical colleges. But then the majority of that money is in our flagship program, which I'm talking about, the Selby Scholar Program. So I always like to talk about our original donors, because they were really forward thinking and they thought outside of the box to figure out how to make their impact last well beyond them. So it is an interesting situation, because unlike in community foundations and other types of family foundations where the donors are living, we don't have the donors to ask their questions, and we don't have even their lineage to refer to. So we often have to just look at historically what has the foundation done, and we continue to have that legacy. So the Selby Scholar Program specifically is a program that selects 40 students, we call them the Selby Scholars, for a renewable scholarship up to 4 years for them to receive their bachelor's degree. And that, like Lindsay explained, it needs to be in an accredited college. It does not need to be in state. And similarly, I think if it's out of the country, there are some limitations, but it's not off the table. I actually have not come across that yet in my 3 years in the program. And the student can study any major. So unlike what Lindsay was talking about, where they have lots of different scholarship opportunities, this is one uniform program, and it makes my life very easy. So the awards vary each year, and it depends on your level of need. And we'll come back to this, because it is something I want to be very transparent about. While the maximum amount can be $7,000 a year, that's not the most common amount. Normally, it's about $3,500. This year is actually closer to $4,000, but I didn't want to say that yet. And so there's a lot of factors that go into that. And the amount, if you are selected as a Selby Scholar, it can be different each year. So oftentimes we'll see that a student won't receive very much in a Selby Scholar Award their first year, because they've got lots of other scholarships coming in. But when you get when a lot of those one-time awards disappear, that's when you would see your Selby Scholar Award increase. And so it is kind of a buffer. Also, too, if let's say you had Pell, but now you don't have Pell, or then your need would be greater, and your Selby Scholar Award would likely be greater. And it happens in the inverse as well. Sometimes we do see all of a sudden a student gets tons of scholarships, or maybe they transfer school and their need changes. Well, the amount can go down as well. So that's, you have to take that with a grain of salt. Let's see. So as an eligibility requirement to even get into the program, you must have a 3.0 unweighted GPA. And then to continue to renew your award, we have a 3.0 requirement. Now we have started like a GPA recovery program. I like to call it that versus a probation program. And when we piloted it, it's had great success. So we do find that sometimes students, especially in their first year, drop below that requirement, and we can work with you on that. This is really, it's once you're in this program, we aim to make it as relational as possible. So, and on that vein, we, you know, instead of it just being transactional where we write a check and we send it to your school and never think about it again, one thing that we have done for almost 20 years now is an annual luncheon each December. And hold on one second. Dad, can you take that away from here? My dad is visiting me and he's eating right next to me. Okay, so we have a symposium where I get to, I feel like I'm a fairy godmother. I get to match each of our, let's say it's 130 students at any given time who are in college. I get to match each of them with a community member in our, you know, who works in their field of interest locally. And so this is a picture from, I think this is actually 2 years ago, what it kind of looks like. Now, the year 2020, it will look very different. And I am still trying to figure out how to reimagine it in a way that makes sense. This, to me, I think is a really unique mentoring opportunity because it's what I call flash mentoring. We're not asking you to participate long-term. We're not asking the mentor to participate long-term. It might grow into something greater. And oftentimes I do hear stories of students getting internship opportunities, or they got to shadow, who we call the person a community partner. They got to shadow them. Or maybe just meeting that person made them realize, oh, maybe I don't want to be an accountant. Maybe I want to try something else. So it's really neat for me that I get to match the students each year. You could ask for the same person each year. You could ask for a different person each year. Some students, they're like, I want to be a doctor, but I want to meet different kinds of doctors to ask them about, you know, various parts of the field. So that's a really neat thing, I think, about our scholarship program, a neat little bonus. I won't go too much into detail because I don't know what it's going to look like in future years as well. Hopefully it will be even an improvement from what it has been. Okay, so where am I going with this? Eligibility. This is, so because it is just one program, we do have criteria that we have to stick to. And so with this scholarship, if you end up not being eligible for it, do not be discouraged. There are many scholarship opportunities in this town in particular. So, you know, if you're out, I hope that this is still valuable for you. So, of course, you need to be graduating from high school. And spread the word about this. This is our last year that we are accepting applications from students who are graduating with their associate's degree. And there's a story behind that. We've always done it that way, but we weren't giving money for students to go to state colleges. Now we are giving to state colleges. So we've been in the process of phasing this out. But we wanted to make sure that if you have a cousin or a friend who is at SCF, they're graduating with an associate's degree, and they plan to continue to get a 4-year degree, be it at SCF or somewhere else. This is the year for them to apply, and we won't be doing it any longer afterwards. So, so you're graduating from high school, you're graduating with your associates. And if your timing is a little off, let's say you graduate early in December or something like that, please contact me. My email address is at the end. I'll make sure it's in the chat. We'll take that on a case-by-case basis, but we do tend to have a little leniency, especially if you're graduating early versus especially with online classes. School is changing. The academic year is changing. So you need to be from the 4 counties that we serve, and Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, DeSoto. And when we say demonstrate financial need, I thought I had elaborated here. I guess I didn't. This is related to the FAFSA. So when you fill out your FAFSA, as I'm sure many of us will, announce, and hopefully most of you have if it's your year to do so, or actually it will be in October, right? hopefully you will very soon, it will spit back out a document to you called the Student Aid Report, SAR. And that number, that document will give you a number that they consider your estimated family contribution. It's what the federal government thinks that your family can pay for you for your next year of education. And it's a flawed number, I know this. It's based off of tax information from the previous year. And so it is the best, like, easy, objective way for us to evaluate financial needs. So we just create a threshold, and the Selby Foundation's threshold for maximum EFC, estimated family contribution, that magic number is 12,000. So if you're at 12,000 or less, then you're in our bracket. And I really do feel when students are right outside of that threshold, and it does create, there are less opportunities for them for scholarships, but I know that other providers in the area have a higher threshold, and I believe the Community Foundation is one of them. Yes. So if that magic number is 12,000 or less, then come to our website, and I'll show it to you in just a second. And so yes, you'll be getting, your plan is to get a 4-year degree. If you are actually in one of the very unique programs, like a pharmacy PharmD program or something where it's an accelerated situation, then just contact me and let me know. But generally, we talk about this program as for undergraduates. Okay, so it's a very, standard application process. I will say our deadline is a little bit later than some of the other awards that are in the region. And so some of this will be stuff you should already have in order, and you won't have to reinvent the wheel. Like we talked about, the things that you'll need will be that SAR document from the FAFSA, the resume. That was optional before. I believe it will be required this year. Like Lindsay was explaining, we're still getting a few of the details solidified at this moment. 2 letters of recommendation. So that's from a teacher as well as a community member. And like Lindsay mentioned, it's not a family member, a coach, a religious leader, maybe, okay, a teacher if they're sponsoring a club that you're a part of. That we can work with that. Those kind of things. If you have any questions, let me know. Transcripts, we generally say official transcripts, but if they don't have like the signature and the certification, like the stamp from your school, as long as it fits the same format that a normal official transcript would, then we should be fine. If you do have any problems with this, please let me know and we can reevaluate. Same thing with ACT and SAT. We're not planning on going test optional this year unless, at the state level something changes. So just your scores from either one. We just, scores from one. We don't super score. If you want to submit, you've taken the ACT and the SAT, you're welcome to. It doesn't really help your case at all, but you're welcome to do that. And then we ask 2 pretty standard essays, and unless I come up with a much more creative one very soon, just generally about your personal values and future plans. We open the application, I always say January 1st. If I'm lucky, maybe I can get it up a little earlier than that. But plan for it to be January 1st, and then it will close on March 23rd. And I'm not even going to say 5 p.m. anymore. I'm saying 4:59, because we did have some students contact me. They were so concerned that they got locked out and they swore that they pressed submit at 5 o'clock. Let's just assume it closes at 5. So you got to press it by 4:59. If you're smart, though, you will be submitting it much earlier than that, and I'll touch on that in a second. We do have an interview process. We did not do that this year, this past spring, because we didn't even know, we barely knew how to use Zoom at that point. It is quite a lot of interviews. So we will be figuring out how to do that most likely virtually this year. So we have 60 semifinalists, and that's how we narrow it down to 40. So if you do become a semifinalist, the chances are they're quite high. And oftentimes when we do go from the 60 to the 40 students, it's usually due to financial aid related reasons. Oftentimes these students around that time of the year, they get surprised you're accepted into this college and you have a very generous aid package. And so if a student doesn't have financial need, then often we will not choose that student because that slot can be used for a student who can use the money. And in that case, it's not, make sure to say it's nothing personal. Those are often the superstar students, and they don't need our money. And so they often understand. And then we notify students usually in early May. I know our timing is like really close to when the award ceremonies are with schools. So I don't even make a promise that we can attend, but we shall see. I always try. I like to go when I can. So it cuts it really close. So just in case you're wondering what some average scores are, we don't have a minimum requirement when it comes to ACT, but they are elevated. When you look to the national average, it is pretty competitive. But like Lindsay was talking about with some of their scholarships, do not let this concern you if you're not a rock star in all areas. We'll talk about essays as well. Each of our scholarship committee members, they look at different things. So I don't have that beautiful slide that's like, look, all of these parts are what we value, because each committee member, some of them, they might care about testing scores. Many of them don't. Some of them, maybe they look at, well, this person wants to be an astronaut, so let me look at their maths and their science scores. And if that doesn't match, then maybe they think, something's weird here. But a lot of them, they look more at the qualitative, like the human aspect that comes through the writing. So just, these are some of the average scores of what we see. And you've got plenty of advice on how to write a strong essay. So the only thing I really want to say from here is do your research on who the scholarship provider is. For the Selby Foundation, you can go around, check our About page, see what the Selby Foundation is all about. See whoever the foundation or the provider is, see if there's any key terms. Maybe it's a Kiwanis club or something. Maybe see what their values are. And perhaps you can craft your essays to show that you fit what they're seeking. So cater your message to them when you can. And then, of course, looking for, editing. I recommend it. There are some members of our committees that are, they don't really care about that. But some do. And we like the diversity of their opinions. So there's not one profile that fits the Selby Scholar. It's kind of a mixture of things. Okay, so this is my unsolicited advice, and we don't have a neat little worksheet like the Community Foundation does for you to time things out. But whatever system works for you, I'm sure Unitas now has plenty of resources on how to map out on your calendar when your different deadlines are. For me, especially when I went to grad school and I was paying out of pocket, I had an Excel sheet that was very well detailed, and I knew when all the deadlines were, and it helped me out a lot. Like Lindsay said, asking for letters of recommendation way in advance. I will speak on behalf of the Selby Scholar Program that if you have a letter of recommendation, it does not need to be written specific to our foundation. Like if you have a stellar letter and it's what got you into XYZ college, it's like an admissions letter, send it. That's fine for our scholarship. And it says it in the instructions, that will not count against you. I know that teachers especially are very busy and you can't ask them to change who it's to every single time. So if you are looking at another scholarship provider and wanting to do that, I recommend getting in touch with their scholarship manager and making sure that that's all right and it won't, diminish your application at all. But I think reasonably it makes sense to accept that. Okay, and at least for ours, I highly recommend submitting early. I think like 80% of our applications are going to come in on March 23rd. Students are going to have technical issues, and I might not. There's just one Molly, right? And so I will be on the call. I will be on phones. I will be emailing. But sometimes there are more crises than one person can handle. So unfortunately, if you wait until the last minute and I can't help you, then you're forfeiting your opportunity. And our deadline is very firm. That is one place that we're very firm when you get in. But once you're in the program, we can be a little loosey-gooseier. But yes, so making sure you can submit it early and ask for help if you have questions or problems. The earlier you do it, the more likely I'm going to be able to give you the quality of help that I like to do. So that's my unsolicited advice. And did I already? Oh, I went backwards. And so we've talked about some of these providers already. I know that we might have students from Manatee County, so I highly recommend checking out the Manatee Community Foundation. They have, and kind of similar to the Community Foundation Sarasota County, they have different scholarship opportunities. And if you are in Manatee County, I don't think that it hurts to go to the Launch Your Plan website, because they likely do list, it's like a lot of local and regional awards. If you scroll through that list, there will likely be more that apply to you. So I'm going to take a moment to show you both the Launch Your Plan list as well as our website. Okay. This is, and perhaps you've seen this before, but if not, you go to launchyourplan.com, and then, oh, my internet's being slow, and then you hover here and then you click scholarships. And this is updated periodically, so it still has a lot of this past cycles dates on it. So I recommend folks to just check this, pretty regularly to see if there's anything new. And then if you were on our website, you would go to hover over scholarships, and you can read more in detail. It's a lot of text about eligibility here, and then the application would be on this link. And it's loading. And of course, it's not open right now. This is something that I definitely want you to know. Something really weird about our application software. There's one link to create and begin an application, but if you want to resume it, there's a different link. I don't know why. It's something that is very confusing. So this link where you resume is the one that you're going to want to bookmark, or save somewhere. Because if you go back to the first one, it's just going to start a whole new application for you. You're going to be confused because it's going to be empty. So I recommend just keep that in mind. That is an annoying thing. So I would click this, but our application is not open at this point. So I think that is what I have. Let me see, is there anything else? Oh, yes. So just, we believe in you. You can do this. And oh, I'm scrolling through to the very end. It's not working. This is the image I was going for right here. We believe in you. And if you have any questions or problems along the way, please get in contact with me. Here's my email address, and I'll type it in the chat as well. So does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Wow, Molly, to
Yeah.
you and Lindsay, you have given us so much information, and I'm already excited about, well, if I were younger, I would be applying
Yes.
for your
Yes.
scholarship. But seriously, this has been super helpful. I have a question regarding the interview.
Yes.
Could you give us some information about normally what it consists of, how the students could prepare to stand out during their interview?
Absolutely. So normally it would be in person, but of course this will be on Zoom likely. There is a panel. Historically, it's 6 community members, which I can understand can be quite intimidating. Normally, folks, they come in, they spend a little time with me. I ask them any questions we might have about their financial aid package. We try to talk them down, make sure everybody's comfortable. And most of the time, students are chill as a cucumber. By the time they go in and they speak to our community members, they have some pretty standard questions. Why did you choose the school that you chose? Tell me more about why you're interested in this major, that type of stuff. But they will also likely pepper in questions that are based on things that you've shared in your application. So it really kind of depends on what you've said. There are so many students who talk about struggles that they've had or their family has had. And so it is likely that they will very respectfully ask you about that and how the Selby Scholar Award will help you in achieving your next goals.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we have a question from the audience. It's similar to the one that we asked Lindsay. Are your scholarships available for undocumented students, or do you have to apply through FAFSA?
So yes, FAFSA is a requirement for our award. And historically, we have actually not, it's a long story, but because we have transitioned with the IRS, we were a different type of the trustee version. And we were not permitted at that time to give to folks who were non-citizens or what the federal government would have considered an eligible non-citizen. But now we are permitted to give scholarships as long as you are, their wording is legally permitted to go to college, then yes, you may apply as long as you can give us the FAFSA completed, then it really doesn't matter what the immigration status is, as long as we have evidence that you can legally attend college.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm very excited for that change because it is
that's great. Yeah, maybe those students who are interested in the specific cases can send you an email and ask you, because as undocumented, they're not eligible for FAFSA, so they may have to provide some other type of documentation for the foundation to see that they are financially eligible.
Thank you. Yes, and so we can please email me and we can evaluate on a case-by-case basis.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions in the audience, or let me check also our Facebook page? Oh, you have also been super thorough, so of course there are no questions. Well, we really appreciate also your support. And Lindsay, if you are still here, and thank you for staying for Molly's presentation, would you like to add anything regarding the interview process, similar to what I asked her?
Sure, yes, I'd be happy to. It's actually quite similar to what Molly shared. Our interviews were in person prior to COVID. This past year, we did have interviews over Zoom. Only 3 of our scholarships require interviews. So it would be our Jackson Scholarship, which is $12,500 per year for 4 years, so a total of $50,000. Our Bogner Scholarship, which is the $100,000 over 4 years, so $25,000 per year. And then our Father Connie Doherty Scholarship, they do interview semifinalists and select finalists after the interviews as well. And that one varies. It's a one-time award, anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000 for 1 year. So we do have a committee that interviews you. They're all super friendly. If you're invited to interview, it's because we already like you. So there's no pressure. But we really just want to get to know you better. So that, like Molly said, there's some questions that you should just think about, the standard interview questions, and maybe Molly and I can work together to put together some frequently asked interview questions that might be useful for applicants. But yes, some standard questions about what you're planning to do, and they will ask questions specific to your application. So if they had a question as they were reading it, or if they wanted to hear more about something you shared, they'll probably ask you about that. But yes, we try to make it as informal as possible. We do ask that you prepare yourself, look professional, like you're going for an interview for a job somewhere. Since it's virtual, try to find a quiet space, somewhere where you're comfortable to share and not have distractions around. But in general, the tone is very informal. The tone is, we just want to get to know you better. You're already someone we're very interested in supporting. So please come and just share who you are.
Excellent, thank you. And in our Future Leaders Academy program, we provide workshop on interviewing skills and professional etiquette, and through our high school clubs, we work on that as well. It's part of our curriculum in the high school club. So it's a great opportunity for the students to put in practice what they learned in our clubs and workshops, and show how amazing they are, definitely. We have another question in the audience. She says, good morning, my daughter is in 9th grade. And does she have to wait up to which grade to start applying, or can she apply now?
Well, I can speak
to both of you.
Okay, for the Selby Foundation, yes, you wait until it's the spring of your graduating year.
Yes, and for our college scholarships, it's the same. So graduating senior from high school. However, we do have a couple opportunities outside of college scholarships for students who are not yet a senior in high school. So if you go to that page on our website for students under 24 years of age, you'll find a few opportunities for younger students, but they won't be college scholarships. They would be for other things.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Yeah, and here the audience also on Zoom, sorry, on Facebook Live is thanking you for the information, both of you. So we are extremely grateful that you have been able to join us this morning. And as I told Lindsay, Molly, we are very grateful as Unidos Now for the support that we continually receive from the Selby Foundation and the support that both foundations give to our students. So again, thanks and have a wonderful weekend. And I will continue with the audience for a few more minutes, but you are free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, before you leave, I would like to share information about some other scholarships that might be helpful for you to know about. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we are. So we have been talking today about local scholarships, right? We have learned about scholarships that the Community Foundation of Sarasota County offers, and also scholarships that the William G. and Marie Selby Foundation offer. But there are other foundations in our community that it's important that you are aware of, and in fact, our speakers today mentioned them. We have the Manatee Community Foundation, also the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, Manatee Education Foundation, and Education Foundation of Sarasota County. There are others, but I wanted to share with you a few more in addition to the two foundations that were kind to present this morning, so that you are aware of other organizations that you may want to visit their website and learn about what scholarships they have available. And don't be afraid to ask them questions, to send them an email if you need any clarification, if you want to know if their scholarships are available for undocumented students or not, or DACA students. They will be happy to answer those questions for you. In addition to these local foundations, I want to tell you about other scholarships that you can find if you go to the College Board website. And this is the link. You may want to take a screenshot or use your phone to take a photo of this slide so you can have the link handy. And if you go to this link, anybody can go to this website and you're gonna get to this page and it will say scholarship search. So it's a search engine where you can enter specific information about your interests and your age and what type of careers you are considering, and based on all the information that you enter, then you click start and you are going to be able to see what scholarships are available for you. So this is a free search engine and I highly recommend that you check it out. There's also scholarship for undocumented students specifically. So as I mentioned before, undocumented students means that those who do not have a green card, those who are not citizens, are not eligible to apply for FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. It's the federal money that students can get to help them pay for college. But there are other opportunities for them. I recommend that you look into the Dream US, also the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, Golden Door Scholars, and Immigrants Rising. So also please take a screenshot or a photo of this slide so that you have this information available and you can visit each website and learn about the scholarship they have and what requirements you need to meet to apply for them. Gabby, I will get back to you in a minute, okay? I would also like to remind you about FAFSA. So I mentioned it before, FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It's money that the federal government has available for those who want to go to college. And to apply for it, As I said before, you need to be an eligible student, which means that you have to be a citizen or a green card holder. If you are applying for asylum, if your status is pending, unfortunately, you are not eligible. But if you have been granted asylum, you can apply for FAFSA. And the application opens on October 1st. We highly recommend that you apply as early as possible because money is granted on a first come, first served basis. And the sooner you complete it, the better, especially if maybe you made a mistake or you need to provide additional information. You know, it's better to get this done early and not wait till the last minute. This year, students could get up to $6,345 free, absolutely free. They didn't have to pay this money back, no interest, nothing, free money. So please keep that in mind. If you're eligible, we highly recommend that you apply. Many students say, oh, I don't qualify because my parents make too much money. Just apply. It doesn't hurt that you do that. And besides, universities will use the information that you provided in your FAFSA to determine if you are eligible for other types of scholarships, like institutional scholarship that the universities themselves may have available for you. So it doesn't hurt to try. And to help you fill out the FAFSA, we have scheduled a workshop on Saturday, October 3rd, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. It's going to be online, so you can fill out your FAFSA from the comfort of your home, staying safe. And we highly encourage you to join us, to attend on this day. There you see the Zoom ID. Anybody can attend it. We highly recommend that you talk with your parents so that you get all the information needed to fill out your FAFSA. How do you know what you need? I suggest that you go to the website, fafsa.gov, and there you will find information both in English and Spanish with a detailed list of all the requirements to complete your FAFSA. Before completing the FAFSA, you will need to create what is called FSA ID, which is like your FAFSA account. And you as a dependent student, if you still live with your parents and you're, they are the ones who are supporting you, you need to create your own FSA ID, your own account. And one of your parents has to create another FSA ID for them. So one is for you, and the one for you should include your number, your name, your social security number, your email address, and your phone number. And the one that your parent creates has to include their information. Make sure that you don't get information mixed up, that you don't enter your parent's phone number, or that your parents don't enter your social security number, because that causes a lot of problems. One FSA ID for the student and one FSA ID for the parent. You can create this anytime. I recommend that you go now and create it, and then tell your parents to do that as well, so that when you attend our workshop on Saturday the 3rd, you have that already created and you can start completing the FAFSA right away. And this is where you have to go, sorry, let me just, there, to create your FSA ID. So you may also want to take a screenshot or a photo of this slide. And if you know of anybody who is willing to volunteer to help students and their parents complete the FAFSA, we have a FAFSA volunteer training scheduled on October 1st from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. You don't have to have any previous experience. It helps if you know a little bit about FAFSA, but you can also learn during the training. It's not rocket science, I promise. And this training will be really helpful for those who have never completed the FAFSA, or for those who have and who want a refresher. The training is going to be online also. We're gonna be doing it via Zoom. And you have here on the flyer the link where you can register to attend. After attending the training, the volunteers will be able to help the students and their parents on Saturday the 3rd, when we will have our first FAFSA workshop, and there will be also other workshops scheduled during the rest of the year for volunteers to help. So now it's survey time. I kindly ask you to please go to the website and complete the survey now. We really appreciate your feedback so that we can continue to improve and that we can learn what else you would like to learn about in the future workshops. So please, I would ask you to complete it now. I will give you a couple of minutes before we continue. There's some additional information that I would like to share with you. If any of the student interpreters are willing to type this link on the chat, please feel free to do that. It's a very short survey, just a few questions to give us some very valuable feedback. We'll wait one more minute and then we'll continue. Okay, we'll go on. If you haven't finished, please complete it and click send. We read all the responses and we take them into account so that we can make our workshops better every time. If you want to learn more about scholarships and other resources, I would like to remind you that Unidos now has clubs at most high schools in Sarasota and Manatee County. Here you have a list of the clubs in Sarasota County and here in Manatee County. So these clubs meet once a week or once every other week. That depends on each club. They are led by students. And in the clubs, the students learn about college prep, career readiness, leadership skills, they learn about FAFSA, and they create a community where they make friends and they work together to make a difference where they live. They also get involved in volunteering activities, in different types of campaigns. So if you're not a member of our high school club, please check it out. If you don't know how to contact the club officers, you will see my contact information at the end of the presentation. Send me an email, give me a call, and I will be happy to connect you with the president of the club at your school. It's a wonderful opportunity also for you to get involved in some leadership activities. It will look great on your resume and your college application. So the earlier you join a club, the better. I would also like to invite you to follow us on social media. We have an account on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for our handle, which is Unidos Now. Very easy. And please follow us, like our posts, comment on them. We love to hear from you. And we would also like to invite you to visit our website at unidosnow.org. We would like to thank, first of all, the two foundations that were our guest speakers today, the Community Foundation of Sarasota County and the William G. and Marie Selby Foundation for their support. And we would also like to give a special thanks to the Charles and Marjorie Barancic Foundation for being such an incredible support of our program and for always being there for us and for our students. Any questions? Here you have my contact information. Feel free to take a screenshot again or a photo. Those who don't have my contact information, I'd be happy to provide you with additional information if you need it, answer your questions, or connect you with one of my colleagues who will also be able to help you. And now I'm going to stop sharing the screen so that if there are any questions, I will address them now. Let's see. Somebody had raised the hand. feel free to unmute yourself if you would like to ask a question. I think it was Gabby. But I don't see her now, so I'm not sure she's still here. And another question in the audience is, okay, she cannot find the link. Okay, we have all the information that was shared today. We have it available to share with the attendees. I'm also going to post the contact information for the two foundations on our Facebook page. So feel free to look for it there. Or if you want me to send you an email, just type your email in the chat box and I will be happy to send it to you. Are there any other questions? Looks like they're not. So I would like to thank all of you for joining us this morning. I hope that you have found this workshop helpful, that you are excited about applying for these scholarships when they open. And if there's anything that we can help you with, any additional information, just let us know. We are here for you. Unidos Now is happy to be here supporting you. And we will be providing information about the upcoming workshops on our social media. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page, Instagram account, or Twitter account, where you will see when the next workshops are. We have workshops on housing, on four-year universities, on financial literacy, on immigration, on professional etiquette and interviewing skills. There's a lot of things that you will be learning between now and May next year. And we hope that you don't miss any of them because they're all super helpful and they will be extremely useful for you to know all these things when it's time to apply for college, but also when you go to college and beyond. So thank you for being here today. It's been a pleasure hosting this workshop, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.